Hello collectors, this is Scaling Drive back with another review. This time, yes, you guessed it, it's about Corvettes. We'll be discussing about at least three model years from the second generation of the Corvette, popularly known as C2, which spans 5 years from 1963 to 1967, roughly about that period. So let's start off with this 1963 Corvette StingRay. This one is a multi-pack exclusive, I believe. It first came out in 1980 and it's a split window Corvette, as you can see, and it was retooled twice, and this one is from the 1995 retooled version, but surprisingly I see the copyright date is 1979. So I checked, the retooling didn't change much, just that the earlier model had a rake to it and they reduced the rake, and then the second tool had only one rivet and it was held at the back with a notch, so they did away with that and got a second rivet. So that's about it. So this has been continuing as it is for around 30 years, which is quite a long time for a single casting. So this particular car hasn't been released in as a single in main lines many times. In fact, in the past 9 years, it has come about 6 times as a multi-pack exclusive and only 3 times as a single release. And this particular one is a 2019 multi-pack exclusive release. As most of you know, the Corvette name came up from the name of a small fast gunship boat. And StingRay, the Chevrolet designers came up with the name, and as the design is inspired from the fish called StingRay. Okay, then now let's have a look at this casting. It's an old casting, so it shows it's not perfect in like stance wise and all, but you have to understand it's an old casting. Still, it's nicely done. At the side you have these scallops, and these are air vents, or what they call horizontal speed lines, which were not actually vents but faux vents. And you can look at the quarter glass also there, and this post is metal. Nowadays they include the post as part of the window. That area of the window is usually thicker, but this is metal since it's an old casting. It looks nice. And then there are vents here on the C pillar as well. Okay, and there's some the scallops are have an silver outline, looks nice, and it reaches the layer. There's a Hot Wheels logo here and a crossed flags logo here. One is a checkered flag and one is a USA flag on the hood as well. And let's move on to the front. So that's the design of the StingRay, as you can see. There's a noticeable gap here, like in the real car also it's there, but here it's quite apparent because this is the bumper, which is a separate piece, but since it's molded as part of the base, it's not very clear, but it's still fine. And there are markings for the headlights, which are not pop-up headlights, but they rotated open, and each side had two lamps. quite high tech for that period. And there's some vents over here on the hood as well. And I believe earlier the vents were open. They were not functional, but they were open, and in 63 I think they closed. Or maybe this is 63 model. In 64 they closed the vents, but the indentation remained. All right, so like here you can't see there are blinkers on this side. I'll show you an AutoWorld model that I'll compare later as well. So this is how the actual Corvette will look. This is a later year model, but you get an idea how the grille should be and how the lights are. But then again, this costs 5 times more than the Hot Wheels, so this was just to give an idea. And under the hood, as it mentions here, it came with a 327 cubic inch engine, and the power varied from 250 horsepower to 350 horsepower, and it was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. And yes, being an American muscle car, it had a V8 engine. This was a small block Chevy V8, which I will show in the 65 Chevy. It becomes turns into a big block. Okay, and before we move to the back, I missed on the side exhaust pipes. So this is part of the chrome base. Let's moving to the back. The iconic feature of this era Corvette is the split window with a metal partition in the middle. So this was quite a designer, eye-catching design, but later the split window gave way to a single window for safety reasons, because of the visibility wasn't that great with the split window. And this is the gas cap marking. It's not chromed out, but you can do it with a chrome pen if you want to. And you can see the rear haunches as well of the muscle car. Nicely done. Then there are no taillights markings, but they have been molded in, which is fair enough. So this is the review of the 1963 Corvette StingRay. Now let's move on to another generation, which will be the 1965. One thing I forgot to mention, this is the Larry wood casting. So let's move on to the 1965. Here we'll be reviewing the convertible, so that we get all body styles. Okay, so this 1965 Corvette convertible was first released by Hot Wheels in the year 2000, and this too has come out more often in multi-pack exclusives in the past few years than as a single pack. This is part of a 2020 multi-pack exclusive, and nice dark blue color. I like it. It gives, and combined with some gold highlights, it's a nice color combination. And looking at the sides, first of all, what strikes is the staggered wheels, smaller front wheel and bigger rear wheel, which is not there in the real car, but it's fine. Hot Wheels did that and still does that for some American muscle cars. Although it looks a little odd to me, I like it if they keep it real and wheels are of the same size, but it's fine. It's a kid's toy also, you must remember, not just a collector's thing. So looking at the size, there's since this is in a livery of a racing car, there's number 5, there's Jones mentioned, a Hot Wheels logo. And in this model year, as compared to the 1963 model year, there were these horizontal speed lines and scallop design. This wasn't functional as such, But in this model year they have these vertical vents. These are exhaust vents, and these were actually functional in the real car. And then the side exhaust pipes are there. These were optional actually. There were rear exhaust options also available, and these side exhaust pipes were optional. Okay, moving on to the front. It's similar to the 1963 version, but there's some changes made in the grille, and I see they've made some molding for the indicator lights as well. Although they are not painting, but they have made some extra effort here. And again it has markings for the turning headlights. They are not pop-up headlights, they rotated open, so just like in the 1963 version. And this is a tinted windscreen, which is fine, with the quarter glass also there. And just have a look at the base, it just says 65 Corvette. Man, this has a copyright date of 1999. This also is a tooling that is more than 20 years old now. Okay, and this 65 model year, they introduced four-wheel disc brakes. All four wheels are disc brakes, which was a big thing for 1965. This gave the car the stopping power because it was required, as this had a big block V8, 396 cubic inch. It's not mentioned over here, but the 63 version was 327. This one had 396 cubic inch with power figures ranging from 350 to over 400 brake horsepower. Again, quite powerful for that era. And the hood, if you see in comparison, is plain smoothened out. There are no vents in this year's casting, although there's a power bulge in the middle. The SP5 wheels, 5 SP wheels, have this bronze, it's not gold color, bronze chrome, which also looks quite unique. Interestingly done. The interiors are ecru in color, beige, dark beige, and it looks like left and right side are the same. Maybe a cost cutting measure. I don't know if it was like this in the real car, but it's fine. Fairly detailed. The seats have the ridge inside, a little bit more detail since it's an open model. Nice. And rear is quite plain. This holds the canopy for the convertible. So, and this is the marking for the gas cap, which is fine. And looking at the rear, the chrome bumpers, like front and rear, are part of the chrome base, which is nice. And there's an area for the license plate, and they're molded in tail lights, no markings for them, which is fine. A sweet little car, sweet little convertible. And both actually look special. I forgot to mention about the paint of this. Looks quite slick in this as well. The purple and black combination looks, and dark tinted windows give it a gangster like feel. Looks quite suave. And the PR5 wheels here are suiting it, and this also has a unique chrome color, purple chrome. I don't think I have seen purple chrome lip in any other Hot Wheels car. Both of them has some unique color of chrome on the wheels. Nicely done actually. An interesting fact that I'll tell you is that the convertible outsold the coupe till 1969. So the convertible was the more popular choice than the coupe. There were the T-top option also later. So that's an interesting thing. So after looking at two model years, 1963 and 1965, let's have a look at a 1967 model year Corvette. This one is not a Hot Wheels, as this is an AutoWorld with co-molded wheels. So just for comparison's sake, although it costs about 6 times more than a Hot Wheels car, and obviously will have more details than a Hot Wheels car, but just since I had it for this model year, I thought I'll show this one. So this is 1967 Corvette by AutoWorld, as you can see on the base. This doesn't have rubber tires but co-molded wheels, black tires with authentic looking alloy. These were actually slotted rally wheels. I checked online and they are like on the real car. So looking at the side, if we compare it the 65 model, preceding model, these exhaust vents on the side, 3 vents, were replaced with 5 slats on the side in this model year. It's not that deep considering this is a premium model, but still the detail is there. The side exhaust is there, door handle markings, and the markings for the door are nicely done. So that is there. And there's a quarter glass window in the front. It's all Mac. And since the Corvette lost the split window after 64, I believe, so this is a single window. Gas cap marking is there, and I think that's Corvette written. Very small tampo, but it's visible. And at the rear we can see the tail light markings, and the bumper is also clearer, so you can see the difference between a mainline Hot Wheels and a more premium AutoWorld. So the clear place for the number plate as well, and the wheels are the same size. In this model year, they reduced the rocker width of the rocker panels as well, as compared to this, to give it a more flattish, more streamlined look, and it definitely looks nicer. And the paint combination is also good, maroon with white stripes on the hood air intake. It's AutoWorld, like their treasure hunts are ultra red, so this is a color close to that one, but this is not an ultra red. Coming to the front, like I showed you before, the details are great. Marker lights, grille, and this bumper, chrome bumper, looks like a separate piece. In the Hot Wheels it is all chromed out, so it looks a bit jumbled. So here you can make out all the details of the car clearly. The scoop on the hood is also very nicely done, and I don't know if you can see, there's 427 written on either side of the scoop, which signifies the big block V8, and this I think was generating over 400 horsepower in various configurations. Way powerful expectedly. So here it is, the comparison of 3 model years of Corvette. 63 Corvette StingRay, beautiful piece, split window model, and then the 65 Corvette convertible, and finally the 67 Corvette 427. I had taken out 2 other models. One is the 1963 Corvette Grand Sport, of which only 5 were built. They were built for the purpose of racing only, for homologation purposes. And there's an interesting story about them. Read about them on Wikipedia. This particular one is from the 2017 Fast and Furious series. And this was also lying around since this is a new release. This is the 62 Corvette Gasser. Looks really good with all the sponsor logos, the blown out engine, and the high riding stance with the side exhaust. Really cool. So it was just lying around, so I thought I'll show that as well. So here's my review of the Corvettes. Hope you like it. Please share your feedback, and please like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back with more review videos soon. Cheers from Scaling Drive.